Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my how I got an A in chemistry video. I was actually 20 marks off an A star in chemistry, which is quite a lot of marks. But I do actually think I had the potential to get an A star in chemistry. Just so many different things and factors in general affected all my results, which I won't go into detail about. But a few things that I could have done that I do think actually would have helped me to get an A star. So I'm going to talk about them as well. I've also done a video how I got an A star in maths, how I got an A in biology, how I got an A in AS psychology, all down below. Is anyone interested in seeing a video about further maths? I did mostly talk about it in my A-level maths video, but whatever. Please subscribe, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, advice, anything like that, please leave it in the comments down below. But yes, I will get into the video. So because somebody actually asked me about this, I'm going to link all the channels and stuff that I used down below. There were two main chemistry websites, Chem Revised and A-Level Chem. I can never remember the difference between them. One has more exam questions on it that are quite good to do before a test. They're called tests, but they're quite good to do before you do a test, unless your school is going to use those ones, but I doubt it. And then there's one that has notes on it. Don't just take their notes and make none of your own notes. That's the worst thing that you can possibly do, because it's so passive to read and so much more active to make notes. But their notes were very detailed and they had a lot of good practical stuff, so it's good to have a read to incorporate into your own notes along with the textbook or class notes. I use the CGP textbook almost completely on its own. Hated the one that the school gave us, was absolutely crap. But the CGP one is so good, really good at explaining. Just doesn't have exam questions in it, but to be honest, you can get that from other sources. The source that our teachers gave us exam questions for was Exam Pro. Get your teacher. Basically, my teacher gave them to us like a month before our exam. She gave us so many booklets. She posted them online for us, like our school sort of homework thing. And it was impossible to do them all, and I think honestly do all of them if you can. I did all of them for biology, 100% helped me. And what she basically did was she put them into different topics, AS and A2, and I just wish she'd given them to us as we'd gone along. I think it would have improved my grades so much more, but obviously there's nothing that can be done about it now. Clearly there was a reason she didn't do that. So yeah, definitely do that if you can. Do the questions as you go along, or do some of them as you go along, so like some of the booklets or half of a booklet, and then nearer to the exam just be doing the booklets. Keep all your tests and mocks and booklets or sets of exam questions, and before the exams or any mocks or tests, go through them and read through the ones you've got wrong specifically, and read through the mark scheme answers and the checked answers. Make sure that when you're marking questions that are structured questions, like they're in levels, that you write down everything. You write down all the levels, you write down what you need to get the marks, so it's really, really clear, because it's easy to just write little bullet points, but make sure you know, okay, for level 1 I need this, for level 2 I need this, for level 3 I need this. And make that really clear to yourself. And also that applies to like the maths questions. Make sure you have got everything down that is needed. You haven't missed anything out, so when you go through you can look back, and because it's quite hard to look back at maths questions and always understand exactly what's going on, so make sure you make little notes to yourself to help yourself in the future, so you know exactly what is going on in the questions. For videos, there was one main channel that I used. It was eRintool. That's his name, obviously that'll be linked. Primrose Kitten did have some videos that were useful. A lot of the practical videos I didn't find too useful for her channel, for me personally. I think it was the same course, but I just didn't find them useful for revision. If anyone knows any good ones, obviously. I saw like a few random ones here and there, but I don't really remember. There's also a channel that called Allery Chemistry that I used pretty much like a few days or the day of the exam. That was really useful for topics that I struggled with as well. In terms of like how to revise, for organic, it's mostly, in fact it's almost completely content based. There's a lot less on calculations and application. It's mostly on memorising tests, memorising mechanisms and things like that. That's pretty much all I can remember. Drawing things, bonding, stuff like that for organic. So in terms of content revision, definitely focus on organic for content revision. In terms of like more where you need to do exam questions, that'll be physical, where it's calculations. You can use textbook questions as well to practice that. Trends and exceptions are really important in chemistry. They often ask about it, and it's really useful to use the answers from the mark scheme in your revision. Like I said, exceptions pop up all the time, and they often ask about it. If there's anything that's a bit weird or a bit off and you have to understand why, that's likely to come up, because I reckon probably a lot of people forget. So definitely learn that. Trends as well, not just what the trends are, but really understanding them. How can you explain them? Usually they're about 3 marks, those questions, and it's really easy to miss something off or to write something that you think is the same as what's written in the mark scheme, but it isn't. So be really harsh when you mark yourself. Only give yourself marks if you get the exact mark scheme answers, not just because you think that they mean the same thing. Doing like practical questions is really, really important. So if you're teaching, maybe do booklets and stuff. My teacher did actually give these to us in the year, and they're really, really useful, I found. And doing them and then marking them yourself, really, really useful. That can be like calculation practical style questions, or designing practicals, or why do you use this, safety measures, things like that, because those are the kind of things that really caught me out in paper 3. Wish I'd had even more practice, but it was quite limited because it was a new paper. Things like that, really understanding what you're finding in the practicals, how in physical in general it's how it relates to an equation. In organic it's about products and reactants usually, like synthesis, that's a big topic, and in general, like I've said in general like 5 times, but those are quite difficult questions and they really test your understanding. I think a lot of people, okay, maybe not a lot of people, but me included, some people really struggle with understanding the practicals, and I really hate practicals. I don't want to make this video too long. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have any questions or advice, please leave it in the comments below. As always, I love reading the comments and will reply to all of them. My maths, biology, psychology videos are all out. This is probably it really with A-levels. I don't have much more to say about my subjects. But yes, I think that's pretty much it. Check out the links in the description if you're interested. Like I said, if you're confused by anything, then drop me a comment. But that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you later. Bye!